Let the party begin. Somebody comment something so I can make sure this all works. There it is. What's up, man? Vexus? Because that boat's freaking amazing, man. It's going from my 621 to that. And Vexus is next level. It just eats everything up. Right behind your house, Nate. It's the best spot. Did you fix that dock yet? Just straight cranberry juice, nothing in it. But no, the Vexus, it does really well in the rough water. Eats up the Great Lakes like it should. I mean, for that amount of money, you better do that too. And it does 70 while it's doing it, so that's cool. Shit, I can't afford a Vexus. Kidding me? What's up, Wallace? Dave, did you ever figure out where babies come from yet? I didn't realize how delayed comments are on Facebook. She is Lexi's downstairs playing with Jax. New rap. I was actually dealing with the designer today a little bit about it, and it's gonna be some back and forth for a minute, but I'll have my boat back from the dealer Friday, and then it's going straight to them to get wrapped. So hopefully next week sometime. Snap weights. Snap weights are a hard one because I run my own numbers for snaps. Definitely do a lot of, like on here, I do a lot of 30-30, 20-20. Gets me, 25 foot ish. School's at speed. That's a whole lot of sensitivity and making your brain believe that all the chatter you're looking at, there's actually fish in between it. You're looking for red dots. I can mark fish up to 35 mile an hour right now with my setup. It's wild. Um, it's definitely easier on Erie because they're bigger schools with bigger fish. The bay is hard. Um, but in between all that static, you see sharp red dots. At least on the Garmin, that's how you're seeing fish. There's lots of times on charters I've been ripping across the lake, run over a school of fish and shut it down. They look at me like I'm crazy or like we broke something, and we're just on fish because I saw them. Then I explained to them what I was seeing on a graph, and they think I'm insane. Trolling motor is on the floor of the garage. I don't have my boat. Switch Garmin for sure. That Kraken's a hell of a motor. It's really durable. You still need to brace it like you would like a Tarova, but just a shaft diameter and durability, and it's just so smooth and quiet, and it's just a better motor. And it's nice too for if you're running a 36 volt system, right? and one of your batteries craps out on you, it'll switch itself over to 24 volt and you keep fishing as opposed to just being shafted wherever you're at. Jeez, these guys are hammering me. Favorite bait for jig and walleye on the bay through the ice. Tingler spoon. Tingler spoon, January, February, slab wrap in March. When those fish start pulling up and getting excited to spawn and all that, they will absolutely hammer a rattle bait. And the slab wraps, they especially like them. Let's see. Body baits versus meat on the bay. I use worms when I'm desperate. I will use every single crankbait on the market before I'll touch a worm. There's what I found is about a week or two window on the bay that you should probably just use a worm. Those fish get in some weird pissy mood and that's just what they do. But matching the size of the bait to the time of year is a big deal on the bay. Like St. Clair and Erie, you can damn near run bandits year round and never slow down. On the bay midsummer, you got to downsize. Last year I ran a Money Badger. It's a little tiny, like 2-inch bass crankbait that they love it. I've tried the little reapers on the bay. They don't like them for some reason. The normal size reapers everywhere else are just killer baits. What's going on, Chad? Last time to fish Detroit River, April. Bigger fish earlier in April, more numbers later in April, all through May. But you can get a lot of those pre-spawn, mid-spawn females early April, mid-April. Fish shallow. Taking a boat to Erie for the first time in March. Any advice? Stay away from the pack. It's the best advice I can give you. There's so many fish in that lake, doesn't matter where you go. I focus Port Clinton to Huron around that time, but stay away from the pack. You get 5 boats around you, it'll shut the bite down. As much as people don't believe that's a thing, I can prove it with live scope. Those fish will go straight to the bottom when they get pressured. Even in the dark, me and Abby were trolling, Thanksgiving night in the dark, watching these fish on live scope trolling. In the dark, only the troller going. I don't know, 1.5-ish, whatever I was doing. And they were still spooking from the boat in the dark, and I'm the only boat out there. They don't like boat traffic. You get too much traffic on them, it shuts them down. And especially these days, you get guys just ripping over these fish and trying to run people's boards over and all that. It just turns into a shit show, and fish just want nothing to do with it. When trolling, does color matter? Yes and no. There's definitely days I'll have 8 of the same bait on because that's what they want. The short version is when I start a day, I put 12 rods out, 12 different baits at 12 different depths until I figure out what they want and where they want it, and I give them more of it and just force feed them what they want. As far as bright on a dark day or dark on a bright day, whatever, doesn't matter. Fish do what they want. Only thing I would say is chromes and dirty water are a big deal. I've done really well on chromes and dirty water. And you touch this thing and it jumps through them all. Danny, I need to know what slip I have. Other than that, I'm good down there. I just don't know what slip I'm in. When I gave them my money and got my receipt, they said they'd have a slip for me in a couple days. I haven't heard anything. Goal is to get me somewhere towards a cleaning station on the main canal. Shouldn't be an issue, but I haven't heard anything. I haven't called them yet either. So if you know anything, let me know, because I'd love to know what slip I'm in. because my last trip on Erie is March 31st, and I'll probably have my boat in a slip and sandbags April 2nd, maybe. I think the first I'm going to bring the boat home, clean it up, go through everything, but then the next day I'm going right to Detroit. What's going on, James? Do you use your kicker all the time and bow mount the steer or just in rough conditions? For me, my kicker comes into play when I'm pushing faster than about 1.5 to 1.8. When I speed up, I'll fire the kicker up because I don't think anybody should run an electronic device that hard. There's no reason for me to just rail on my troller when I don't need to. Um, my batteries will take it. I'm sure the troller will take it, especially brushless with the technology and everything. It'll take it, but why? I mean, with these new four strokes, they're so quiet, you almost don't hear them anyways. And then the other side of that too is when I'm running my kicker, I run hunt mode on my Troll Smarter, which is my throttle controller. I catch a lot of fish because of hunt mode, especially on area with weighted lines, because that speed change will affect your depths where those baits are at, and you'll get into fish that wouldn't normally even look at you. What's going on, Stringer? Why do you run so fast trolling? I will go as fast as the fish will allow me to go. The faster I control, the more water I'm covering. Best advice for fishing with Fred Wallace. Get him a weigh bag with a zipper. Yeah, that's the best advice I got for him. Thanks, Derek. Oh, there's an OG name, huh, Trevor? One sonar for the day. All right, Miller, I need more to go off of than that. Am I trolling, casting, jigging? What are we doing? And what lake am I on? Hey, Paul, I have to come see you soon, actually. I mean, probably around May, I'll come see you. Biggest current inspiration. That's a tough one, but my end game goal right now is to do something like Jason Mitchell's doing, where he's kind of just living his best life. He put in his time guiding, built a reputation, got his sponsors behind him. And now he's pretty much just traveling around, fishing with some buddies, taking some pictures, and living his best life. Trolling. What lake, Mike? What lake? Because if I'm on the bay, I'm gonna run side scan. If I'm on Erie, 2D's fine. Um, Man, should we get into what time of year too? Because early spring, I want live scope because I want to know if those fish are sitting up high in the sun or if they're down low. Best snow goose guide? Shit, I don't know. Everybody's the best in February. Muskegon Lake, huh? I figured Grand River, honestly. Shallow water trolling the bay at ice out. So the best way I can put the bay at ice out, you have to assume all those fish are pulling in to stage in front of the river. Whether it's Seaboing River, Quanakee River, Saginaw River, Cowcowan, they stage in front of all of them. Pine River. Fish around the river mouths, find the bait, fish around the river mouths, the fish will be there. Because typically that river water is warmer too, and those fish are going to be looking for it. Fish the mud lines, fish the stain, go shallow. Don't be don't be scared to go shallow. Um, Post spawn, what, May? I was fishing Quantico, dredging baits. I was running flicker nines at 40 and 50 back in 6 foot of water. Now, you would think I'd be running them about 10 back. If those baits weren't dredging bottom in that shallow water, I wasn't catching fish. I damn near had to carve a ditch with them. Favorite flicker size and color? Number 9 minnow copper red. Hands down, one of the best ones I've ever used on the bay. Favorite all-time program? Like TV show program? What's the craziest thing you've seen on the water or the boat ramp? Oh, good lord. That one, I don't even think I can say that on here. The most entertaining things I've seen at the boat ramp have came the weekend of Jobby Nooner at any single boat ramp on Lake St. Clair. You get there in the afternoon, pull up a lawn chair and a case of beer and enjoy the show. You will see more fights, breakups, divorces, broken shit, smashed boats. It's if you never sat on Lake St. Clair after Jobby Nooner at a boat ramp, you've missed out on life. You should definitely go do that. Favorite TV show growing up, and I watch a lot of In Fisherman. I watch a lot of Jimmy Houston and a lot of The Next Bite. Those were kind of my jam growing up. But I was also the kid that would wake up on a Saturday morning at 5 o'clock and I'd have ESPN on until noon watching whatever was on, whether it's fishing or hunting or whatever. How does the water shut off the back of the Vexus? I've taken 2 waves ever over the back of the Vexus and they were 6 footers. Um, when I'm on plane and get out of it, it cuts right down. I don't have any issues with taking water over the back. The way it's designed, it just doesn't happen. If current weather patterns hold, how will that impact spawning? Is spawning totally dependent on water temp? Yes and no. I mean, you got to look at photo periods, you got to look at moon cycles. Um, Last year in Erie, everything happened in 1 week. It seemed like we had the water temp, we had a full moon, we had the calm nights, clear nights. So it was brighter than hell at night, and you knew those fish were doing their thing. They 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 don't all spawn at the same time. I can confirm that. Detroit proves that. There's always waves of fish that'll come through and spawn at different times. Same with perch. They all I've s- I've seen it to where perch are spawning underneath the ice. There's actually studies on it. It's insane. But um man, that's a tough question because there's no right answer to it. There's really not. I mean, you're looking 43, 44 degrees is their sweet spot, but they like to pull up at shallow at night when they can see you get a full moon. You get all that lined up together, it's going to happen really quick. Yeah, or raft off. Raft off's always a zoo too. When do you decide what time of year to start using crawler harnesses and bottom bouncers? Yeah, I try not to. When I notice the bite gets really slow or I start seeing fish really pin the bottom, I'll slow roll a worm in front of their face. Yeah, I don't think a lot of them make it back to the ramp after Joppy. I've seen people stranded on Gull Island. I got pictures somewhere. Favorite rock band? Ooh. Um, that's a toss up between Bullet for My Valentine and Volbeat. I think Volbeat's a very, very underrated band. Best affordable layout boat. Probably UFO. Keep an eye on Old Homer though. He's got a new one coming out. He wrote a molded Kalash, which is gonna be really interesting to see how that turns out. I know there's a lot of us watching that one because that Kalash was really nice, but that Kalash rode very well because of how heavy it was. So we'll see how the Roto Molded does. Sag Bay and Erie. Between Sag Bay, Erie, and St. Clair, what body of water can burn you the most as a guide? Going from quick limits one day to struggle the next. Saginaw Bay, 100% every day of the week. No question about it. Erie, you can always find fish that want to eat. It's deeper on average, so I think the pressure and temperature swings and everything affect them a lot less. The bay is generally shallower, right, until you get out north of Buoy One in the deeper water. Um, and it seems like the smallest changes just piss those fish off on the bay for whatever reason. St. Clair, St. Clair is a very stable lake because of the currents and the river systems. It doesn't swing as fast as most places. Looking for a template for building my own trolling sleds. Do I know where to find one? I have no idea, man. I know there's a couple companies still making them, but I have no idea. If anything, maybe get one and then put your own twist on it, like buy a set. Best advice for catching bigger fish in a Saginaw River. Get out of the middle of the damn river. For some reason, everybody thinks they have to fish the middle of the river to catch fish. It's not the play. Those big fish aren't there. They're up shallow. Last year, before the MWT, we were marking them all the way up into 4 foot of water, catching them in 6 and 8 foot. And it was very rare I went past 20 because it just wasn't any point to it. But conditions have to align for that too. If you get a sharp cold front, those fish are going to slide right out and hang out in that deeper water because it'll hold temp better. And if you're catching that many small fish, upsize your bait size too. Throw like a 4 or 5 inch paddle tail down there, or like a 4 inch fluke. Throw something bigger at them. You'll sort through a lot of those fish. Whatever, Keith. Actually, I just bought my first scratch off the other day. I didn't win shit. $5 wasted. My bucket list fishery. My biggest bucket list fishery is Cascade, and I'm going back with vengeance because I'm still salty about that trip. It should have been way better. But live and learn. We'll go back and conquer it. I'm gonna go out to Devil's Lake. I'm gonna fish the Dakotas. I'm gonna fish Green Bay. But it's really hard when you live on one of the best fisheries in the world. It's hard to have somewhere else to go because I can do everything here. Favorite rod for jigging Detroit River? Those. Um, Unpopular opinion. I'm a 7 foot medium guy. It's all loose. I actually just picked up these. They showed up today, actually. It's a mock jacked. This thing for the money is going to be one hell of a setup. It's real light. It's really balanced. Fast tip on it, so it's just enough to snap that jig when I need to. But I'm a big loose fan. I've been running their stuff for a long time, and it's held up really well. I've tried softer rods. I've tried stiffer rods. Something about 7 medium is the sweet spot. Because when I hook into a bigger fish, I got enough rod to play that fish out. It's not just loaded up instantly. Best shanty snacks. For me, it's one of those oats and honey grain bar things. That and ravioli on the heater seems to hit the spot at about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We didn't get skunked in Cascade. Our guide was just completely useless. He just wanted to sit in one spot and not do anything. His whole program for 2 days for 6 guys was to sit in one spot in a lawn chair with his legs crossed after he killed the batteries on the augers. No effort, no ambition. The whole time leading up to it, he's telling everybody how he's the best guide on the lake, blah, blah, blah. Then we get there and he doesn't do anything. He didn't even go and check the ice for us. I actually, when we flew in, he told me where the keys were to his sleds. I hopped on the sled and went and checked the ice for him because they had a major warm front that melted off a lot of the snow and all that. And he was trying to cancel on us as we were getting on the plane, which is wild. But I'm sure everybody's got horror stories for everything over the years. But that was exceptional coming from my background to see somebody how they operate so bad and stay in business. Preferred jig head shape to vertical jigging. It really doesn't matter. I mean, a lot of people talk about spinning and they need a pointed jig head so it doesn't spin in the current and all this fancy stuff. Once you put a plastic on there, you add a giant rudder to it. So as long as it's not square, you're pretty much good to go. Profile's a big deal, I think, when you're jigging a river in a fast current like St. Clair River, Detroit River. Those fish have about 1 second to decide if they're going to eat it or not. And when you have that short of a time, I think profile is more important than color, ultimately. So if they want a bigger profile, you got like a big flat-sided, like silver dollar jig or something like that. But I have mine. I pour mine. They're actually my shitty pour job. But I pour those. Just a minnow head, nothing fancy. That fluke with that green tail is an absolute killer in Detroit. Don't tell anybody I told you. But no, I mean, it's profile on it. It's nothing special. But cheap mold works great. Catches fish. The best advice I can give you for a jig is use a heavy wire hook. There's a lot of guys selling these jigs with a very light wire hook, and you will miss and lose more fish because of that wire than anything. You need a sturdy hook to be able to stick those fish. What are you looking for this time of year? Like why shallow or deeper on Erie? I'm looking for food. Those fish are chasing food. They're putting the feed bag on to get ready to spawn. Sometimes it's at the river mouth, sometimes it's just off the side of it. You got to watch the winds and where it blows the warmer water and where it's going to blow the bait around. Find the bait, you'll find the fish. That's where they're at 100% of the time this time of year. I've never fished Lake Erie. Where would a beginner start? Port Clinton, fish the islands. Go out of Missouri's. Especially like March, April, early April. You can get over into Huron. Huron can be very easy fishing as well, but that ramp gets really busy really quick. But trust your electronics. Drive around until you mark fish. How shallow do muskies spawn? I have no idea, man. I am not a muskie guy. I don't know very much about them except I strongly dislike them, and they need to quit eating all my perch. Yeah, James, yeah. Things got interesting night one. If you're going fishing this Friday, where are you going and for what? Am I going to fill a freezer or put a fish on the wall? Because if I'm putting a fish on the wall, I'm going straight to Erie. If I'm filling the freezer, just go to Saginaw River. What's up, Will? I appreciate it. Just set a perch fish in Saginaw Bay in the cuts. Where should I look and what to look for? You should look for Lake St. Clair. That's what you should look for perch. Um, I mean, yeah, there's perch in the cuts. From what I've seen and what I've done over the last 30 years, perch fishing in Saginaw Bay is just isn't worth it anymore. To sit there and grind all day for 20 fish, I mean, if you're going for big fish, it's a great place to focus big fish. If you want numbers of quality, the bay's not it. And the only people that'll ever argue that are diehard Saginaw Bay guys. Yep, secret's out, Stringer. What do I need to get my sonar to read on plane? Lowrance Elite 9. I'm not familiar with Lowrance's transducers anymore. I believe a lot of guys are running like the Airmars. They're expensive, but they work really well. Um, get a hold of like Markham Ketchum. He's real familiar with all the brands and what it takes to do that. I've kind of just tunnel visioned on Garmin these days because I don't see any reason of owning anything else. Um, get a hold of 11 and see what he has to say. He might steer you towards Air Mars too. Need a hoodie. Did I get any in yet? I just gotta order some, man. I just need people that want some shirts or hoodies, or I got a bunch of hats sitting here. I have a bunch of t-shirts still, hoodies and stuff. I just have to order them. I've been um, ordering 4 orders because now that I'm not outsourcing them, I'm just making them myself. I order them as people want them. How is Erie mid-March for fishing? I'm there every single year and I'm excited to be there, if that says anything. If you want your trophy fish, that's the play. What's an average walleye for March Erie trips? Chance of a 30-inch 10-pounder. Absolutely. March March into early April is your absolute best time for a pig walleye because those fat girls are up doing their thing. They're chomping on everything that rolls past them. And if fall is any indicator of how spring's going to go, you're going to see a lot of double-digit fish on my boat this spring. We're going to see. But the amount of 7, 8, 9 pound 27, 28-inch fish we caught, just looking for one big fish, was ridiculous. Is there a place to wade fish St. Clair, Detroit River? With the water going down, St. Clair River is very, very wadeable to a point. You really got to watch that current. I remember there was a guy that used to always fish next to me. He'd come wading in off the condos in Marysville. But those fish would come right up into a couple foot of water at night, so you just got to find the access points with the shallow water. When do I think I'm going to catch a trophy? Well, a trophy to me is a teener, and I just can't get it done for whatever reason. It'll happen eventually. I feel like when I get some time to just go fishing myself, it's gonna stack the odds in my favor. Because I'm gonna go for one bite as opposed to numbers like I would on a charter. I mean, my spring trips on Erie, we're catching big fish, but it's just different. I fish different when I fish alone. I'm a lot more of a run and gun guy when I fish alone. How does the Garmin 93 SV compare to the UHD? So the UHD is processed better. The biggest difference is when you get into a GT56 transducer. That's when you really notice a difference. If you weren't guiding for a day in spring, fall, or early spring, what are you fishing for just for fun? Probably bluegills and crappies. Maybe perch, but probably bluegills and crappies. I have a lot of fun sitting in the canals and beating on those bluegills. Just relaxing. Troll Smarter? Absolutely. I love that thing. It's simple, it works. I don't have to mess with it. There's no dial to bump off of in waves and whatnot. I see the scammers are showing up. Cool. Glad India's watching. How's the quality on that Vexus? I heard some of the big name walleye boats fell off terribly. Well, Ranger fell off because Jetty Morris bought it and turned it into a tracker. Skeeter's lingering, but I'm not a fan of them personally. They're hollow to me. They don't. It doesn't feel like a salad boat. Is it a salad boat? Yeah. It doesn't feel like a salad boat, and it doesn't run anything comparable to a Vexus. A Vexus will just destroy a Skeeter every day of the week. Warrior makes a really great boat, but like the 238, it's just slow. I mean, you're talking 50, low 50 mile an hour. It eats up the waves. It's heavy, but I like going fast, so it just doesn't do it for me. The Warriors layout is really nice. I wish Vexus would do that. They came out with a 22S Vexus, and they did open floor plan, but they could have did a lot better with the storage. It's just so minimal. I'll have a 22S here in probably a year or two. I'm gonna run this boat for a while. Difference in jigging St. Clair River over the Detroit River. Difference in colors, depth, anything. It's kind of the same program for me. It's 15 to 25, 30 foot-ish. St. Clair River, I found myself running gobies for plastics a lot more than a minnow style bait. But each river on most days in the spring, you put it in front of their face, they're gonna hit it. There's not much science to it. What's up, Ryan? The 56 deucer over the 54, yeah, it's that much better, Brian. When I switched in my Ranger, it was like looking at a totally different screen. The kind of blurs of logs turned into logs. Now I can see a boat and tell you if there's anybody in it on side scan. I have the 32 live scope deucer. I wanted the 34, but I'm broke. For some reason, I bought a Vexus, so all that extra fancy stuff went out the window. I'll have a 34 eventually, but I'm gonna run the 32 for probably another year. What's going on, Wayne? Well, let's set up a Cascade trip. I bet we would have a blast out there. We'll get a couple guys together and we'll just go crank on them. I already know. I have a pretty good understanding of the lake, where we need to be and how we need to do it. I would absolutely not pay a guy to get on Cascade. It's just not worth it. They're perch that act like perch mixed with like Saginaw Bay walleyes through the ice. It's kind of a happy mix between the two. It's really cool to see, really. But they're just absolute tanks out there. But there's a good way to play that lake, and it's just a big flooded reservoir, so it's not hard to pattern those fish. Yeah, I'm gonna get a 34. It's just coming up with the $1,100 to change the deucer to see the fish a little bit better. Especially when 90% of my time is spent trolling. It's kind of whatever. If we ever get ice again, I'll for sure have it for that. But apparently we don't get ice anymore, so it's actually really weird. I spent my entire life being the first one on, the last one off the ice, and I haven't stepped foot on the ice with an ice rod in 2 years. The last time I ice fished was on Cascade. Daiwa or Shimano? I would say Daiwa's got the trolling reels down, and Shimano's got like spinning reels down. But all those rods behind me and reels behind me are all loose. St. Croix, Fenwick, or Loomis? Well, Snap Croix can keep their rods. They're going to break, and then they're going to dick you around and not warranty them. Fenwick makes decent rods. I've used Fenwick's ice rods. I haven't used their open water rods. Loomis just costs too damn much. How long do I think before you rip your windshield off the Vexus? Won't happen. Unless I run it into a garage door like somebody else I know. I'm not ripping a windshield off that boat. It's built solid. You can hang off of it. You really do, Trevor. Like, you really picked up my slack, and I live vicariously through you right now. How much growth do you typically see on your learning trips? My learning trips go really well. I get guys that genuinely want to learn, and they come into it with the right attitude. I tell everybody make a list of questions and kind of gauge what they want to learn, and we focus on that. My learning trips are absolutely not about catching fish, but having people understand how to catch them or how to rig their boat better to make it more efficient and easier. Almost all of my learning trips, within a month or two after, I get pictures sent to me, and they're thanking me for it, which I don't necessarily think it was me, but it's pretty cool that they do that. It makes the guy feel good about himself, like he's doing something right. Tie jigs direct the braid or fluoro leader off a swivel. Chartering, straight the braid every day of the week. You'll learn that the snags are actually 99% of the time the stinger, and I just go through stingers. If I didn't do that, if I ran a swivel and fluoro, I'd have smoked eyelets and a lot of jigs gone. When I'm growing up, I always ran a leader. But now that I've been chartering straight to braid, those fish don't care. And it's when you add fluoro and a barrel, you're adding two more things to fail between you and that fish, and I'm not a fan of that. I'm a big bass fisher, but every time I chase bass in the mouth and in the weeds, flats, they never seem to bite what would be the go-to bait to really smack them. Jacenkos, fluke spinners. Man, that is such a loaded statement. There's so many variables there. What lake are you fishing bass on? Well, let's start there. And maybe I can help you out with that a little bit more. Because St. Clair fish is completely different than Saginaw Bay, and they both fish different than Erie. So there's a whole lot going on there. Wallace, you just catch onto the windshield thing or what? What's my preferred vertical jigging rod? 7-foot medium loose. Where are you struggling to catch your bass at? Why, like where are they not doing what you want them to? But no, Jonas, like I was showing earlier, this thing's gonna be an awesome rod because it's light and balanced. I'm gonna be able to hold it all day. It's I can't turn it the other way. You guys gotta read it upside down. But it's a Mock Jacked. The grip's real nice on it, real clean grip. You're not getting anything digging into your hand, holding it all day. The reel seat on it, it just fits like a glove. The reel's nice and smooth. And actually, they finally updated the. Wow, this is weird looking at it on a computer screen. But this is seamless now, so your line's not going to get caught in a groove there, which is a big deal. Oh shit. I'm going to break it before I even get to use it. Denali rods, a whole lot of money. That's my opinion on Denali rods. Try Steve, next time you're out there bass fishing, grab a white paddle tail. They're like a 3.5, 4-inch paddle tail on a swim bait head. Just burn it around. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. Do I think fish see the high vis braid when jigging? Do I think it bothers them? Fish do not care. I've proved it year after year after year after year. Fish do not care. You get into salmon, yeah, salmon and trout maybe. But when you get into walleye, perch, bluegill, crappie, they do not care about that line color. I've watched them through the ice. They bite my damn line and follow it to the jig and eat that. They don't care. You're talking reaction strike fish for the most part. Where we're at, we're not finessing them, right? So it's game on. I mean, every rod I have for jigging has high vis yellow on it. My trolling rod's got high vis green on them. My ice rods used to have high vis orange on them. The fish just don't care. Andy, I haven't seen you in years, man. Hope everything's well over there. We should go catch some fish, though. 5'10". See, that's just like a half a rod to me. And the other reason I run a 7-foot rod is I'm always running the boat. So it's nice to be able to keep it up away from the trolling motor and kind of have enough rod to play the fish. And then, like I was saying earlier, too, with the longer rod, if I hook into a big fish, say like a sturgeon or a 10-pounder or whatever, I got enough rod to handle that fish. Those little short rods, you don't have enough rod there. It just loads up and you end up ripping hooks out. True, Fred, true. Vexes will rip the wall out by the windshield. Wait until you fish out of it. You're gonna like this boat. I'm telling you. You'll sell that Ranger in a heartbeat. Minnows are not on the D, like the new rules in Canada. Unless there's rules as of this year that I haven't seen yet, they don't care about minnows in Canada. When I was boarded this year on St. Clair, I was in Canadian water with a cooler full of minnows, and the American Coast Guard, the Canadian Coast Guard, the RMCP, M&M, and our agent was all on the boat. They do not care. If you read what's in writing, there's a stipulation to connected Great Lakes waterways. If you touch land over there, that's when they get pissy. Man, that goose experience was something, wasn't it? I still got that video somewhere. I'll have to find that video. That was wild how they just didn't make a sound and would just appear in the decoys. You might see me doing a lot more goose hunting this year too, by the way. Like September, I got some stuff in the works. If it all plays out, I might be offering up some hunts in the fields. Opinions on red hooks for cranks for walleyes. I don't have an opinion either way. I know Keith Cabayas swears by them. Gary Parsons swears by them. For me, I don't know. I mean, them guys been a lot more places and done a lot more than I have. If they're swearing by them, there's probably some truth to it because I'm pretty sure they're not paid to sell hooks. So, favorite hooks on a Flicker Metal 9. Front hook's a 6, back hook's a 4. What am I running now? I'm running BMC Barbarians now. They seem to hold the fish pretty well. And I like putting a bigger hook on the back because it gives the bait a little bit different action. And it's just a little bit bigger hook to stick those fish and hold on to them. When do we get to order some of the freshly painted bandits? Man, if I can ever get a minute to paint some. I started taking hooks off them last week, and then I went and redid a bathroom for the last week, and I'm probably going to be redoing another bathroom next week, just trying to keep up with everything while my boat's down and out. I'm really gonna try to get those painted though. Matt, yeah. That's been a thing since about November. For some reason, that's where they're partying at, which is funny because that's where they partied at when I was a kid. So it's kind of things are adding up real quick. Even north of there, it's pretty good too. Do I really change my hooks on the baits? Yep, absolutely. Flicker metal hooks are absolute garbage. I don't change them until they break, but I change them out as soon as they break to something solid. Am I signed up for the Ultimate Walleye Derby? I am not. I chose not to sign up and not to sign my boat up because the odds of a winning fish coming out of the Detroit River is very slim. It's most likely going to be an Erie fish that wins it. And at $1,300 to register my boat, that's just a lot of money to throw away. when I don't feel confident in it. If I thought me or my guys had a legitimate chance at it, I'd be in it. You guys running out of questions or what? I guess it has been an hour. God, I got this cranberry juice. Oh, since everybody stopped asking questions, book a Detroit trip. Detroit's been really quiet for me this year. I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know if the economy's got everybody just kind of sitting tight or what, but as soon as you get them tax returns, line up a Detroit trip with me. I'd love to have you on the boat. What's up with the boat? Is it down? No, warranty work. I had a live well pump that just decided to end its own life. There's actually a sensor. There's actually a sensor for my live well that auto fluctuates the fill level. That decided to quit working, so it just wouldn't put water in my live well. I unhooked it. Now I can sink my boat with it because it never shuts off. So they're fixing that and some little things that just happen on boats that when you spend the amount of money I did, you just take it to the dealer and make it their problem. Where's the big grass carp at? In your backyard, Jack. That's where they're all at. They sure as hell aren't in Michigan. There's like 6 left, I think. Best time of day to fish for you. Depends on time of year. When it's cold like this, you get these really cold nights. I like midday. Everything warms up. The fish get more active midday, and it seems to be better during the spawn night. In the summer, I've seen the summer go both ways. I've caught them 100 degrees, flat, calm at noon. There just doesn't seem to be a rhyme or reason in the summer. Favorite sunglasses. I still like my Oakley's, Frank. If Costa made a frame I liked with the 580Gs, I'd probably get them. Because I'm at about 2 years per pair of glasses now, because I keep scratching the hell out of them. I haven't messed with perspective here yet. With me trolling all the time, it's just easier to run forward so I can see where they're sitting at in a column. Am I going back to Saginaw Bay this year? God, I hope not. But yeah, I'll probably be there in June. The issue I have with Saginaw Bay is the last 2 years, the wind has never quit. So we're fishing 3-footers every single day, and it just gets old. There's nowhere to hide from it. The fish are real finicky. I actually moved an hour south off of the bay. So now I'm an hour to the bay, hour to St. Clair, and 2 hours to Erie. So I'm gonna try to focus Erie and St. Clair more this year. I'm gonna end up on the bay, I think, just because the fishing in June is like so good and the boat traffic gets so crazy in St. Clair. But I like St. Clair charter wise because you're always catching something. You're catching big smallies, you're catching a muskie, you're catching perch, or whatever the hell's swimming around out there. There's always something going on. The bay, you're just going to catch walleyes, and when it's slow, it's painful. Erie is kind of in the same ballpark to me as the bay because it's very weather dependent. So if I can fish St. Clair, I can get on fish a lot of different areas and stay out of the wind, and it just doesn't seem to blow as much in St. Clair. Can we hear some clucks on a goose call? Abby would absolutely kill me if I started railing on that goose call. Bounce a, where'd that, bounce a bottom on Saginaw River or 1 foot above? I jig all over the place on that river because there's no current. My line's almost never straight on the Saginaw River either because there's no current. Take that how you wish. That's as far as I'm going into it. You don't have to be perfectly vertical on the Saginaw River to catch fish. And when you have light current like that, those fish have a lot of time to think about what they're going to do. And if you can hang it in front of their face or up above their head a little bit longer, they like it. What depths are best on Erie in early March? Really just depends on the fish. You can catch them from 5 foot all the way to 50. What do I regret most as a guide? Probably not doing it sooner. I'm having a lot of fun with this. I'm meeting a lot of really cool people. And I'm able to show people what I've done my whole life and let them experience it, which is pretty fun for me. Sills, no, it'll be going to the Rat Place on Friday. I'm literally picking it up from the dealer on Friday and taking it to the Rat Place and dropping it back off. So hopefully by midweek next week, maybe. I don't know if he's watching, but midweek maybe I'll have my boat wrapped and done. I'm still talking to the designers. We're going through different ideas, and I'm gonna get what I want, and I'm gonna be somewhat picky about it. But I also don't have time on my side, so I just don't want what everybody else has. Lexi just tried breaking in. Late May, you're gonna be on the river, eh? Man, am I so late? When do I fish on St. Clair? Any chance I get. It is an absolute phenomenal fishery for everything. I've moved away from it for what, 5, 6 years, fished it off and on. I miss it. And now that I've been I moved south and I've been getting back into it, it's just so much more fun to fish. How often do you have to cancel trips due to weather? On the bay? Shit, once a week. Last year it seemed like I was doing more rescheduling than I was fishing because the wind just always sucked. The best thing I did was bought the Vexus though, because I was able to fish in a lot gnarlier water comfortably. Do you tie your own stinger hooks? I used to. Now I just don't have the time to sit down and tie them. I ran them. I think I ran 15-pound mono on them. I'd have to look. I don't remember. I want to say it was like 15-pound mono. I wanted them to dance a little bit, but I still wanted somewhat of a sturdy line. And I use, I think, number 10 treble hooks. I'll see you, Dan. Yeah, for sure. Definitely get a hold of me when you want to fish St. Clair. I'm going to be bouncing all over the place this year, fishing everything, so. Do you recommend live scope mounting to the trolling motor or a separate mount? It's really dependent on how you fish. The downside to mounting it to the trolling motor is wherever your trolling motor is pointed is where you're looking. Same with trolling. It's moving, it's adjusting, the autopilot's kicking in. So it's really more how you fish. Must have cranks besides flickers, bandits, and husky jerks. Reapers for sure. Definitely get some reapers. Bomber deep long A's are really good. Money badgers. What else am I running? I got so many damn baits anymore. I had Bunch of weird stuff too that works. Reef runners still work very well. Hottentots still work very well. Just because there's not hyper on them doesn't mean they don't work. But even the Husky jerks, like you get in the Rapala line now, they got the scatters. They got the whole scatter series. They got a bunch of different baits now that all definitely serve their purpose. Fish a lot in the Western Basin Lake Erie, July. Hands moving. Fish a lot in the Western Basin. Damn it. Fish a lot in Western Basin Lake Erie in July. July is the most struggling time. Stay confident. Algae bloom kicks my ass. In the July months, what's your technique if you had no choice but to fish the bloom? Just go east. Take a half-hour drive east if you can. Here on Vermilion, Avon. Just go east. Those fish move east. Your day just gets so much easier if you leave that. That water gets hot, the bloom gets going, and it's just you're putting more effort into trying to catch fish in marginal conditions than you would just driving that extra half hour to go to the deeper water. Did you have a good squaw season this fall? Absolutely, we did. Um, I've learned guiding duck hunts that my hunts are based off of how many boxes of shells these guys go through and not necessarily how many ducks they kill. Um, my very last hunt, the birds juked me hard, and I think we shot 6 or 7 birds. But the smartest thing I did was stay off the internet all of my duck season because I was the only one at the ramp and I saw one other boat the entire time I was out there. I didn't have to deal with people and pushing the birds around. It just wasn't an issue this year, and next year I'll do the exact same thing because half of my season's already booked. So there's no point in blasting the internet when you're booked up on everything, especially something like that where pressure can really hurt you. Never fished Green Bay. Never been over there. I'm going to. But Sills, if you're gonna go to Green Bay, try to line up a casting trip the day the ice goes out in like a Cano. You will catch some absolute giants casting rattlebaits. What's the most important thing on your boat that helps you put fish in the boat? 12 rods covering water. I mean, absolutely electronics play in, all that fun stuff. Put baits in the water and cover some water. Best Detroit River plastic color. Let's see what focus is. That little cutie right there. I'm not a finesse guy. Every single person on that river is jigging a finesse. I'm doing something different. Bill Lewis lures. There's a good one. What's my thoughts on the Bill Lewis lures? Oh man, how many people are looking? 83. That's not too bad. I own 4 of them. They don't get used, and I'll never buy another one. That's my thoughts on the Bill Lewis ones. Not a fan. Do I use any scents? Nope. Sure don't. Yeah, no, I need to stop by there just to say hi and see the place and all that fun stuff. I was I drove by there a lot this year, but I never needed anything, so I was just kind of chilling. I just went fishing every day, but I launched a Harley a lot for my perch season and even walleye because I'm not driving all the way down to 11 Mile to park on the lawn, right? And St. Clair Shores would probably tow me, so I just made the run. But really, cash in some tax return checks on Detroit River Chargers. Do I tip? I'm guessing you're asking if I'm tipping my jigs with minnows or if I'm putting worms on my cranks. What's going on, Chris? You gonna be down in Erie next month or what? Best rod and length for trolling bandits on boards. I feel like that's a very what's the word? It's like a personal preference. Um, I think I'm running 8.6s now with the soft tip. Reason being is when I get into bigger waves, that softer tip helps the boards be a lot smoother. I like the flex in the rods. I mean, as far as you got to have a super sensitive rod to feel everything. You're dragging a piece of plastic around and reeling in fish that typically don't fight. So you don't need a big fancy rod to troll with. I'm using $28 rods. They work great. And if they break, I'd shrug them off and buy another one. Tip jigs with minnows. If I'm fishing for money, absolutely. Every day of the week, I'll tip my jig with a minnow if I'm fishing for money. If I'm fun fishing, nah, usually not. Yeah, my first trip, Chris, is the 16th as of now. Mostly because I'm doing a Z-Bridge tournament. I'll probably be down there before that. I'll be down there that week. And see, I tried them, Will. I tried running them Bill Lewis's even during the brawl, and for me, it was Bandits and Reapers. And it was real weird when I was over towards the islands. Reapers dominated 10-1 over a Bandit, and the further east I went, the better Bandits did. Yeah, I agree, Chris. All my rods got cold waters on them. 203s. I wish Lewis would get some trolling stuff going. It'd be really nice. So I think if Lewis could come out with a trolling rod and reel setup at a competitive price, they could probably take the market with them. But I know Rapala just picked up 13 fishing, and 13 released a trolling rod that, from what I'm hearing, is pretty damn nice. We're gonna see how it plays out, but that Omen Gold looks like a really nice rod. Yeah, it kind of having a tournament March 9th kind of messes up our whole program. But I think he's always had it right towards as closest to the 15th as he could get, if I remember right. I wasn't even gonna fish it, and then I got talked into fishing it. So at least I know this year I'm not gonna have a kid that's gonna throw the weigh bag up on a seawall and let the fish fall out of the bag. So I might have a chance this year. Yeah. How's that Ranger working out, Chris? You like it? Oh, you watch, Brian. I'm gonna zip tie that damn bag closed this year. We're not losing money this year. I'm still pissed about that. I mean, we all know that cost us $700 last year. I don't know if we had West beat, but we for sure had the other guys beat. Yeah, I don't know, Chris. I stay salty about stuff like that. It's about the only thing that lingers with me. Yeah, all of 4 pounds, 4 or 5 pounds. I mean, I literally watched him fall out. I just wasn't fast enough. Redemption year. I just want to see the Vexes out front of the shit show of a shotgun start. That's all I want to see. Sweet. Hopefully you don't have any issues with it. Sills last year's Z-Bridge tournament. I don't know if I told you about that or not. So me, Fred Wallace, Brian Eaton, and this other guy, fished a Z-Bridge tournament. We were on some fish. We had pretty solid bag, and we damn near fished alone all day, which was nice because everybody went one way and we went the opposite way. We get back to the seawall. Fred pulls the boat up to the seawall, and that no name guy decides to grab the weigh bag and take the fish to weigh in. Well, Brian's already standing up on shore, and instead of handing the bag off or just climbing up the seawall with the bag in his hand, this dumbass decides to take the weigh bag and just launch it up on the shore, on the edge of the seawall. So of course, because physics, the bag falls towards the river, not away from it, and two of our better fish fell out of the bag in front of the whole damn tournament. That was fun. So we had some extra fish in the live wall and just grabbed some little squeakers in there just to weigh our five or whatever it was. But yeah, that other guy. Uh, mm, 10 years ago, Chris, that other guy would have had a really bad day. But now I'm old and washed up, so I just bottle all my anger up and walk away. But legitimately, that cost us $700. Like I said, I don't know if we beat West or not. It would have been really close, but for sure we had second. I'm normally not that guy to do the shoulda, coulda, woulda, whatever stuff, but we had that one. Man, what are all these things? 5 years, 4 years, 5 years, 4 years. Damn, you guys have been watching my page for a while. What's this little diamond thing next to your name, Sills? What does that mean? Like VIP or something? Where's the best place for me to jig on the Saginaw River tomorrow? Well, from what I heard, today sucked for a lot of guys. They were grinding hard. But the entire river system should have fish in it right now. I mean, it's just a matter of which ones want to eat. My best advice is cruise that river at side scan on until you find a big pile of fish and fish them. And especially with the south wind, that current should pick up a little bit and they should be stuck right at the bottom, so it should be good jigging water. Jigging a D in the spring is upper river just as good, say Peach Island, Belle Isle area. I fished Detroit. Last year, I tried going for Saginaw, and it did not pan out because Saginaw got blown out. The year before, I fished Detroit. We limited every single trip. I think I went below the bridge 2 or 3 times. I stayed upriver the entire month. The trick is just like on Erie, just like in St. Clair, just like in Saginaw Bay, stay away from the pack of boats. Will you catch fish in the middle of the river in 50 foot? Sure. Is it fun fishing that water? Absolutely not. Yeah, no, Jeremy, I think we all have a zipper bag now after that day. What one major piece of advice, if you're marking fish and you're not catching them, leave. Don't try to make them eat. Just leave. Go find fish that want to eat. Especially if you're fishing for numbers and fishing for the freezer. Just leave. Same thing through the ice. You can mark fish all day. They're not going to eat. Why even bother with them? They're just going to piss you off. Yeah, that cracking over in Ultrex is a massive, massive game changer. I had an Ultrex on my Ranger and I broke it. Seemed like about once a month. Oh, it could be top fan. No, it doesn't show me. And I don't want to click anything because I'll probably break it. So I'm surprised I figured out this live stream stuff. I'm using a freaking action camera for my webcam. Pretty good picture though, according to my screen. So in case anybody forgot, send me your tax returns for a charter. Please and thank you. Detroit River. Algonac State Park campground closed. They're closing the whole freaking campground for a year? Are they out of their minds? Um, yeah, what is around there anymore? Your best bet's probably gonna be an Airbnb. Campground wise, there's not much. If you have a camper, I know you can get a permit and park in one of the DNR parking lots, like on Perch Road or um, what's that on Starville, I believe. But you gotta have a permit to park your camper there. But I know there's a lot of Airbnbs around. There's a bunch on Harson's too. Jeremy, so he said power difference was crazy, especially for being less pound thrust. So the way Garmin rated their motors was the actual thrust, not just s- snowballing a number based off of voltage like Minn Kota does. And the other difference too is that the shaft on the Kraken doesn't flex as much as like the Minn Kotas, right? So you have a lot more straight power without power loss because of that. Don't leave fish to find fish. What's my thoughts on that? Man, that one has kicked me in the ass more times than I can count. Um, yeah, Lakeport's a long ways up, but I have absolutely kicked myself in the ass for leaving fish to find fish. But I've also left fish, drove around looking for more fish, and came back, and those fish were fired up. I always come back. Specifically when I'm jigging a river in the spring, those pre-spawn fish will fire up for 45 minutes to an hour, then they'll stop. Like that's their bite window. If you're there when they do it, everybody catches fish for an hour, then they stop. I'll make one or two passes, and if I don't catch a fish, I leave. Um, and a lot of times I can come back in an hour or two and catch those fish again. The other thing too is specifically in Detroit, if I'm in an area catching fish and I get surrounded by boats, I leave. And I'll go far enough away I can still watch that area, and I'll wait for all the boats to leave, and I'll go back and catch fish again. Isn't there a KOA in like Port Huron or Marysville or something? Is that still a thing? Surprised so many of you are hanging out watching me blabber on. So, speaking of that, you guys think I should do these live streams more? Do like maybe a monthly one about where I'm fishing, how I'm fishing, or weekly, bi-weekly? You guys think it would be helpful if I did these more? And I'm trying to find more angles as opposed to just posting pictures of fish and saying, "Look, we caught fish again." It just gets old. Any recommendations on a first walleye boat to buy? Sub 30K. Um, where are you going to be fishing primarily with that boat? Chris, you know where I'm at damn near all the time, anyways. In colors and depths. um, oh man. So the bay's gonna beat up any boat, right? River, you can get away with damn near anything. Um, Saginaw Bay is gonna beat up a boat. If you can find a nice fiberglass boat in your price range, go fiberglass over aluminum. You're gonna get way more boat for the money, and it's gonna take the water way better and be more comfortable. Every aluminum boat out there is gonna beat the shit out of you, and you're gonna get wet unless you're in like Hughes or North River enclosed, right? How's the ice? Shit, I don't know. Where's Trevor Larson at? He'll tell you. He's got to be getting close to going swimming. I think he was out yesterday or today. I don't know. I just I pulled my rods out. I was gonna go down to St. Clair to catch some perch at a buddy's house. Pulled all my ice gear out, set it up in the garage. Got up in the morning. There's a couple inches of snow on the ground, and I just didn't go because I didn't want to deal with traffic on 75. And it was kind of marginal ice, anyways. I do really need to go fishing though. Maybe I'll go Thursday. Yeah, it seems like the fishing stuff in the winter is as bad as the snowmobile stuff in the winter. It's how's the ice or how's the snow? And people ask the same question 97 times a day. It just gets old. How often do I target crappies? Not as much as I should. With me moving closer to St. Clair, I'm absolutely gonna focus on them more. They're probably one of the funnest fish for me to chase. And I'm gonna make it a point, especially now that I got a new boat and I got all the electronics and all that, I can really just go where I want to go and do what I want to do. Yeah, Justin, no, this is why I went live. I feel like a lot of people are gonna appreciate it. When do the pre-spawn females come into the rivers? Upper 30s. I mean, there's always fish in the river, right? There's always a resident fish, but the pushes start showing up upper 30s. By mid 40s, they're spawning. I do not pour my own plastics. I've debated it. I've seen how it's done and the effort it takes and how it all goes down. I just, nah. I'd rather just buy them. I'd love to work with a guy that's pouring plastics and get my own thing going. But to get the mold cut and all that, it gets expensive really fast. Got a trip planned to Little Bay to knock this weekend. Still hoping to be able to get out there. You might be all right. The UP's cold, man. I mean, up until this weekend, it's been cold. You might be all right. Where's your boat at, Eaton? Wallace doesn't have a boat. I don't have a boat. You don't have a boat. Where's everybody's boats at? We're all just waiting on our boats now? Yeah, well, Chris, for sure. Never fished Green Bay. I've never fished Green Bay. I'm going to fish Green Bay. It's definitely on my list of things I want to do. I want to go over there and cast those giant walleyes, but I've never been over there. I'm just now getting to the point in life where I'm able to kind of go and do things. My whole life it's just been work, 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 work. And now I'm just taking a step back and chilling. Thoughts on scents when using plastics while jigging? Does not matter. To me, it does not matter. When, especially in the rivers, you get so much current, like Detroit and St. Clair, you get so much current, it just doesn't matter. I've never, outside of I think salmon, I've never seen anybody just swear up and down that you have to have sense for walleyes. Yeah, definitely get a hold of me. Be good to see you again. Yeah, that Matt's onto something with that. Find a boat with a blown motor that somebody's just trying to get out from under. There's there's a lot of deals going on motors right now. I know a buddy of mine today just picked up a brand new in the box, never turned over 9.9 Pro Kicker for 2,700. So red hooks or not, Keith Cavaias, Gary Parsons swears by them. Hard to say. I don't think fish are focused on the hook as opposed to the bait itself. I can't say I've ever noticed a difference. I've absolutely worn the red off of hooks, but I don't think it matters that much. People going, yeah, I'm gonna try something. I will say I absolutely like gold hooks for perch. Nah, I don't know if that worked, but it looked cool doing it. But there's been days perch fishing that we'd run out of minnows and just drop a gold hook down and catch fish on it. Or we throw a perch eye on it. I like those chain baits like the Haley Shooks and stuff. I'll put a little tiny treble hook on them. But like mid-February when those ice perch are real finicky and don't want to do anything, they just come up, bounce their nose off of it. They always get that little treble hook in their face. They absolutely get angry at gold. I agree. Yeah, who was that? I was asking about the boat. Where'd you go? Apparently it's gone on here already. But yeah, there's some guys talking about finding a boat for under 30K in the comments. You're still on here, read those comments. What worked, Fred? What are you talking about? Rick, I've spent a lot of time out there. Whole lot of time out there. I'm actually when I didn't know they were building that restaurant there, and the stuff they got rid of to do that was actually kind of depressing because that water held so many fish, and it was untouched. And before the internet, nobody fished over there. You get a couple guys that would wander over from the raft, and that was it. Now it's a zoo over there. Those canals used to be really good too until they started treating them. Oh, is the pole working? I don't even know. Holy shit, it is working. I thought you were selling that like 2 years ago, Chad. You still haven't sold that Triton yet? Oh, happy birthday, by the way, Chad. I saw a post earlier or something about it. I remember, I think Sills actually posted it. But yeah, so happy birthday. I feel like 40 now or something. Kind of old, man. I'm not far behind you. Yeah, Rick, I don't know what palms they greased or how many pads, how many sets of knee pads they wore out to build that restaurant there, but they knew somebody in the right places, and I'm sure it cost them a whole lot of money to do it. Tower Power 115 for $1,000. I don't even know if that's a good deal. Is it a good deal? Could be. I know I will not be going to the V10 Verado on the new boat. Yeah, absolutely millions were spent. Throw it up for sale. That was a great time to sell it. I'll sell it to the other guy that's looking for a boat for 30K. They still get a decent boat. See you, Fred. I'm getting off here in a minute too. I've been out here for an hour and 45 minutes. I wonder if Jax is still awake. Hang on. Let me go see if Jax is still awake. Come here, Jax. All right, Jax is going. You got clothes on, kid? All right, come here. Come here, come say hi. There's 40 something people left. Oh, everybody's leaving because I walked away. Say hi. Look, you're on the screen.
Hi.
Wave to them. What's your favorite fish to catch?
Perch.
Perch? That's it? You're done?
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, I didn't expect you to get shot that fast.
Captain too. Hi, I'm Charter Captain.
Whatever, dude. In or out, dog? Should have brought him on earlier. I didn't think about it. I kind of told him to stay out for a few. I'll get him on here more next time. He's been, he's having a 5-year-old kind of night. Come here, Lexi. Come here. Jump up. Jump up. Say hi, Lexi. No, you gotta say hi over there. Alright, get down. But no, you guys are gonna see a lot of Jax this year too. He's my little protege. And he's really catching on quick with the fish and stuff and having a lot of fun with it. He's been out, a handful of times with me now, and the first time it was what you'd expect out of a 5-year-old, just kind of scatterbrained, didn't really care. I mean, catching perch one after another, he still just wanted to go swimming. The second time I got him his own rod and he just locked right in. Yeah, no, Chad, so Jax goes around telling everybody he's a charter captain with me. That's his new thing. She took him to a water park, and they're sitting in a hot tub with random people in the water park. And he's telling everybody in the hot tub that he's a charter captain and goes fishing with me, and it's hilarious. But all right, I've been on here an hour in 45 minutes. I'm freaking tired. Book a Detroit trip. I got a couple of Erie days left. Not many. Definitely have Detroit days. Boats in a slip at Sinbad's. We'll go rail on some walleyes. Other than that, May's gonna be a weird month this year. I'm not sure what I'm doing yet. I might just go catch bluegills for a month, or I might try to find some perch, or I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. But yeah, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. Because I'm gonna try to do these more. I don't know if it's gonna be a 2 week thing or a monthly thing. I don't know yet. I know YouTube. I'm gonna push YouTube a lot harder this year. I got a bunch of cameras. I got all the editing figured out. I got some other stuff going. The sponsors on the wrap. I got a bunch of people that sponsored the wrap this year, so that's gonna be cool. I'm gonna do some cool stuff with them. Got a lot going on. It's gonna be fun. You're gonna see me focus a lot more on the media side of it and push a lot of different stuff. But no, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me, asking me a million questions. There's 293 comments right now, which is pretty cool to see. It's a lot of questions. Definitely makes me feel like it's worth it. So you guys have a good night. I'm going to bed once I figure out how to end this thing.